Hello, this is Bridget Rao with Divine Essentials. Alright guys, so I just woke up at I don't even know, 2 a.m. or something. I was exhausted when I got home. Past couple of days, I've been very tired. I was tired when I did the live the other night. So I've been in bed a lot and just wasn't feeling up to much. So I wasn't recording. I did get to go to work a couple of days there, and then I had a couple of days off in between, and I was supposed to have 3 days off, but I ended up having a day off, went to work, a day off. Now I gotta work the next couple of days, and was making orders tonight. I made a lion, I made candles, made twin flame sprays and roll-ons and things like that. And so I feel like, again, it's going to tie in with this. Physical symptoms is what we're talking about, and your nervous system being in high alert all the time, going out into the world, into places that are unknown to us or even known to us. If we have a high alert system, we're exhausted because of that. Like, people with a regulated nervous system, they're not, I notice it in myself way more too now in my life than I think I ever probably paid attention to before. But I think it's because pain is there. So when someone pulls out in front of you, it's not just a jump anymore. It's like a jump followed by pain in the places that my body has pain. So it's like, ah! It physically hurts me to be or if a box in the back of the truck, poof, I'm like, ah! Even just being here with the dogs. I know sometimes when I'm here with the dogs, everything's calm and quiet, and they bark. It's like it runs through my body and shocks me, and then pain radiates throughout anywhere that I have pain. Luckily, right now, both of my knees have been. The right one is still a little bit behind, but nothing like what it was. But I do feel it physically go through my body. And it says, unresolved trauma can take a significant toll on your physical health. Unresolved childhood trauma is particularly insidious, with effects that are both gradual and cumulative. Having an understanding of how your body responds to stress and trauma can empower you to partner with your treatment providers and actively attend to your physical health and care needs. Let's take a closer look at relationship between stress and your health. When we're under any stress, the nervous system will initiate a fight or flight response as an attempt to reestablish safety and connection. The Center of the Developing Child at Harvard University recognizes 3 forms of childhood stress. One is positive stress responses. A healthy stress response is one that is temporary and it resolves itself with a positive connection to loving caregivers. Examples of healthy stressors during childhood include adapting to a new child care provider or brief, intolerable separations from the primary caregiver. Healthy stress actually tones the nervous system to cope with stressful situations encountered in adulthood. Tolerable stress response is here you might face a significant single incident trauma as a child, such as a fire or the death of a loved one. However, if you have a supportive environment with loving caregivers who help you process your experience, such an event is actually associated with the development of positive coping skills in adulthood. Toxic stress response is, in this case, profound or ongoing traumatic events take place without support from loving adults. These situations are associated with a negative outcome on emotional and physical health in adulthood. Ideally, stress is temporary. However, when a stressful situation persists, it can result in the body remaining in a state of high alert without the ability to rest. Traumatic stress is the result of an event that has life-threatening implications in which you become immobilized without a way to escape. In such a situation, the fight or flight response was unsuccessful and you were left feeling helpless. During any stress event, the body will produce cortisol, the chemicals associated with the sympathetic nervous system and the fight or flight response. When stress is ongoing, the body will continually produce high amounts of stress chemicals In contrast, unresolved CPTSD is actually associated with chronically low levels of cortisols within the bloodstream. This does not mean that your body is producing fewer cortisols. In fact, the body continues to release high amounts of stress chemicals. However, the physiology of unresolved PTSD involves a change in how your body processes these cortisols. And as a result, PTSD is associated with frequent bursts of cortisol and chronically low levels of available cortisols in the bloodstream. This is the psychological explanation of the classic alternation between feeling overwhelmed and shut down. It is as if you are driving with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. And like when it's happening, right? My physical body is like, I can't move. My mental body is like, you're an asshole, get up, you gotta do it, and then beats yourself up here. Well, you're already beat up down here. And it's like, then you just feel worse and worse and worse and worse. And you just decline. And you gotta like pull yourself up out of there. It's hard. It's not easy. The autonomic nervous system plays a significant role in our emotional and psychological responses to stress and trauma. The NS is understood to have two primary systems, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic system is associated with fight or flight and the release of cortisol through the bloodstream. The parasympathetic nervous system puts the brakes on the sympathetic nervous system so the body stops releasing stress chemicals and shifts towards relaxation, digestion, and regeneration. The sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems are meant to work in a rhythmic alternation that supports healthy digestion, sleep, and immune system functioning. However, chronic stress and unresolved CPTSD can interfere with the balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, which impacts physical health. Chronic stress and trauma and health, the relation between stress, chemicals, and immune system functioning. When bloodstream cortisol levels are high, the immune system is suppressed. In contrast, when bloodstream cortisol levels are low, the immune system is enhanced or unchecked. The immune system is associated with inflammation in the body. The inflammation is necessary when we are fighting off a virus or bacteria. However, when the immune system continues to inflame without a target, there's a great likelihood of long-term physical health problems. So before I came on here, I've had this like dent on my thumb, okay? And I've noticed it a few times. It's the only one that has it. And I looked it up finally because I was like, what the fuck does this mean? And it was associated with inflammation in the body. It's also associated with like, it could be so many things. Like, you know what it's like to go onto Google. It's like, well, it could be your liver, it could be your kidney. 10 signs you need to go to the doctor immediately. Like, you're dying. But what made more sense to me was a zinc and a B. What the hell is it? The red one, the one that I like. B12. Okay, B12. I get liquid B12 drops. I haven't had them in a long time, but like intuitively, my brain was like, you need some B12. So I got B12 because I kept finding a lot of things that I was experiencing made sense for that. Like, I take zinc every day inside of my shake, but I think I should probably start taking more of it. And B12, especially right now, the sun's going down. Like, I flourish in the summer because the sun provides so much for us. I'm already miserable. Like, this last week, I was just in bed, like, miserable. Like, tired, exhausted, miserable. Like, I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to record a video. I can't do it right now. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Because the sun's gone. Because the vitamins are depleting out. Because I'm on overdrive. Because fight or flight. Because CPTSD. It's all these things. It's a combination. But becoming aware of it and being like, okay, like even just a subtle thing like me taking a shower can help significantly. But there's times where, like, depressed people, we don't do that. We don't get up to shower. Like, I'm not going for weeks at a time, but I'll go for days at a time because, like, I don't want to get cold. And I don't want to bop and a boop. You know what I mean? And I know some of you will. I know some of you will get that. Like yeah, like, I just want to stay in my warm pajamas and I'll take a shower tomorrow. And I did, like, that, You know, like I went to work on Friday, and then all day Saturday I stayed in my pajamas until this morning. I took a shower to go to work, or yesterday morning, now that it's 2 a.m., and look at me up at 2 a.m. Like, these are the things. Googling what's wrong with my thumb. Oh, it's all these things we're talking about. Synchronicity is always there too. Even the videos that I've been making for Facebook where it's like talking about just like my day, driving and stuff, Spirit is all up in there. Earlier I recorded a video that's about the Lyran lion that I made and the Lyrans, because people polled and they wanted to hear about the Lyrans for TikTok. So I'm probably going to upload those on somewhere, see how it goes. But I showed me making a lion and talk about the Lyrans. But in it, as soon as I started the video, there was like a boop boop and a boop 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 and a boop boop. And earlier there was one with me boopity booping when I was talking about like my Amazon job. So I know everything I do, even when I'm not doing it the way I think I should be doing it, or beating myself up because I should have done it by now. People are expecting it. Like, I highly doubt anybody even notices, you know, like, I really don't think anybody's out there, like, I wonder why Bridget didn't upload the BTSD. Like, I know that, like, it's very unlikely that there's someone, if anything, they may be like, I hope she's okay, but in my head, my brain is like, you're a jerk, oh my god, what is wrong with you? And it makes things worse. So health problems associated with chronic stress, in which cortisols are high and immunity is suppressed, include high blood pressure. This is when it's increased, and it's associated with hypertension and heart disease. Blood sugar imbalances. Blood sugar remains elevated and maintain a fight or flight response, leading to increased risk for hypoglycemia and diabetes. I know that word, but I can't speak it. Food cravings. Cravings for sweet carbs, sweets, carbs, salt, vinegar, spices can lead to emotional eating when they continue over time. Addictions. It is common to seek out temporary stress relief from the quick fix of alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, or other drugs, contributing to the development of unhealthy habits. Sluggish digestion. Sluggish. Chronic stress interferes with digestion because digestion is non-essential activity when we need to flee or fight a predator, and so it shuts down when the body is stressed. Like, where I'm going, right, it's like not safe environments. Like the guys, okay, Crun came back and he was like, I was being followed around the other night and boppity boop. And it's the same place I go to, okay? And I was followed around in there too, but they were kids. Like, I'm thinking he may, I feel like he's one of those guys that's just like easily like riled up, okay? Like, there were some guys in there, okay? And there was a lot of them. And it's like low funding housing. Like, you can just tell it's like their projects, okay? I'm not trying to be rude or mean or anything. It is, okay? And they're all young, you know, kids in there playing basketball in the court that's in the middle of this place. And they threw the ball at me, and they're like, they said something like, if you're looking for the most wanted black, like, thief or something like that, he's right here. Trying unsuccessfully, because they were kids, okay? They could probably kill me, but they have a different energy of like killers. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like those types of guys, those kids following Kron around, would probably intimidate Kron and piss him off and upset him. Because he's like, I don't want them to steal the packages, so I was knocking on all the doors as I'm leaving them. I'm like, you take a picture, man. You did your job. You don't have to worry. I don't want to be blamed for it. Like, don't worry about it. They're gonna know. If you're in the projects and, like, you're being followed around by kids, it wasn't you. You got a good track record, man. You've been on 12 drives. You haven't stolen anything yet. Like, but, like, I know the difference. I can feel the difference of good guy, bad guy. Like, I see guys all the time give me the fucking creeps, and I'm like, and they are not good guys. I just know they're not. Like, if I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, they're the type of guy that would kill me. These kids were just being kids. But I also know by dealing with Krun, you know what I mean? Like, very intuitive, very in tune with my surroundings. And that right there is hypervigilance. But it's like a fine-tuned. Some of us are hypervigilant And it's not fine-tuned, and that's where I used to be. Now it's like fine-tuned, but it's almost even more like exhausting to be that aware of everything. And just think about how quickly the mind is going all the time. To be like, well, those are all, they're not really like gauging threats, and even the interactions of other threats and how threatening they are or aren't. You know what I mean? Based off of just so much. The facial features, what they're saying, how they're backing it up. Like, I can tell that they don't really believe it in the back of their head, but they're saying it because they're for a fact. And it's just like, I see all of that. I see it all. I said to my sister earlier today, I was like, I wish I could not fucking see it, man. Like, I wish I could unsee or unknow so many things. I wish I could be oblivious. La la la. I'd be so well rested. But since doing this job, I've noticed, like, my stomach, like, isn't working. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not using my bathroom anymore. So, suppressed immunity. Ongoing suppressed immunity is associated with increased susceptibility to disease or cancer. Health problems associated with unresolved PTSD, in which bloodstream cortisols are low and immunity is unchecked, include digestive disturbances. The parasympathetic nervous system is associated with enhanced digestion. However, too much of a good thing can wreak havoc. There is an overproduction of stomach acids and a greater likelihood of digestive conditions such as acid reflux and irritable bowel syndrome. I said that day I projectile vomited. There was nothing in my stomach except for, like, stomach bile. But the night before, I ate a big-ass meal. However, it was, like, the first one in many days. I was like, no, I need, like, a big dinner tonight. I'm sick of, like, half of a fucking frozen pizza. Like, I got a whole calzone, ate it, but by the next day, my stomach was empty again, and I'm projectile vomiting. After 5 days of being in bed, in agony, and getting up and rushing to go back to work that day, I feel like my body was like, no, bitch. Too much parasympathetic. Too sympathetic. Sleep disturbances. Normally, cortisol rises rapidly after we wake, gradually falls over the day, rises again in the late afternoon, and then falls again, reaching a low point in the middle of the night. The circadian rhythm of our body's clock is patterned throughout the cortisol rhythm. With chronic PTSD, there is an abnormally flattened circadian cortisol cycle that has been linked to fatigue and insomnia. This is why my sleep schedule is so weird. Autoimmune disorders. When there is no virus or bacteria that needs to be fought, the unchecked immune system will target healthy tissue, leading to increased vulnerability in autoimmune disorders. Alright, so we'll talk about the ACE study tomorrow, but yeah, I'm sorry it took me a while to get to this one. Like I said, it's been intense, and I'm not surprised. Like, everything I do usually ties back to each other in these weird-ass synchronistic ways, and it's not necessarily the most comfortable thing to be on here and be like, oh yeah, so I suffer with all of this stuff, but, you know, other people do. And even healers do. Healers, wounded healers, become healers because they know what it's like. And they're healing themselves through healing others. When I heal myself, and I raise my vibration, and I show up, and push through this shit, it inspires other people to do the same thing. Also, it raises the collective energies. So, regardless if you do something or not, you're being impacted by the rise of the energies that I'm increasing around you. Or if you're watching this, you're part of this, you know what I mean? We're all together in this. So, even give yourself the credit of that. Like, I just watched that video. I absorbed that information. That's all we can do, really, is learn and grow and keep trying and try to get ourselves regulated and try to help each other to do that. But I will be back as soon as possible. I'm not even going to give days anymore. I'm not even going to say anything anymore. I'm just going to be like, I'll be back, and you'll see when. Because every time I give, like, oh, it'll be that day. It's like, I feel like someone's out there like, chaos around her, so she can't do it. I caught on to it this morning because there was so much chaos this morning. I wasn't even, like, I woke up, and my job called me. It was like, can you come in early? So, boppity beep, and I was like, what? It's like 9 a.m., and I leave here in an hour on a regular day. Like, you're not giving me much ahead. Like, oh, by the way, yeah, don't shower or anything, just come. Like, you know, is how it felt. And then I get there, and the reason why I'm supposed to go there early is, like, canceled. As soon as I get there, these other guys are there, so I'm like, they're not even supposed to be here, what the hell? And then the other guy that came, like, his truck's all messed up, so we're all trying to help him with his truck. That throws us all off. However, I went back to the same place I've been going for the last 5 days, which is Rhode Island, basically, on the line of Rhode Island to Massachusetts. My phone's like, welcome to Massachusetts. I went there, and I only had 104 stops, so I was done at 4:44 p.m., which is very early. I was back to the station before any of the guys, and I was the last in the line to leave this morning because I was parked behind all of them, but I was back first, got done very quickly, so when I realized, like, oh, chaos, like, I took it, transmuted it, and turned it into, like, let's make this day easier. So, like, from then on, every bag that I needed, everything that I was doing, it was like boopity boop, and I was done so early. So, we can shift it. Even, like, the knee thing. Like, when the knee was really bad, and I'm, like, hobbling around out there, I started saying to myself, the more you use it, the better it feels. The more you use it, better it feels. And it did. And it does. It is. So, it works. But it's, like, you gotta... Because, like, every time I was getting out of the truck before, I was like, oh, it hurts so bad. Like, I don't know which way to get out. Oh. And, like, now, I've, like, got a handle, like, made out of a seatbelt. Because the vans that I'm in are not Amazon vans. They don't have 3 points of contact. They don't have little bars in places for you to get in and out. So you just, like, jump in and out all the time. And with hurt knees, it's a little bit harder. So now, there's, like, a handle for me made out of a seatbelt wrapped around the head of the chair. And it's just like, it's just been a lot easier, getting done faster. I'm not in pain. I can run. I can move. I can, like, jump up and down without being like, slowly scraping out of the truck and hurting myself, trying not to hurt myself. But yeah, things are getting easier, especially because that's just how anything is. It's like the more you do it, the easier it is. I get it done quickly. We're building up the bank accounts. Lots of orders coming in, very grateful. Trying not to, like if I did get up and record, I'd be harming myself. It's like we have to honor ourselves and who we are. That's why it is hard, to do anything in this world, because, like, not everybody has the same experiences going on, and not everybody even realizes what's going on. Like, so many times people just assume that you're all fine, you're all good, because you joke, and you laugh, and you smile, and you help others. But it's like, dude, I do all those things because I know what it's like to suffer and struggle and hurt and be in pain and sad and miserable and not want to, like, live. I get it, because it's a roller coaster, but I will be able to set that aside to show up for other people, inspire other people, and, do what I can to help. But sometimes the best thing I can do to help others is help myself, so that I can continue to help others. So wherever you're at right now, just know that there's a lot of shit going on in this world too, that if you are highly sensitive, you're probably picking up on. And just energetically, shit is crazy. Like, it doesn't even feel like a real world anymore. Like, I feel like we're constantly, like, timeline splitting, and I don't even know. It's just, there's so much. But I was gonna do some channeling again. Like, I'm gonna do the meditation and things like that, but after that, doing, like, the Q&As to get answers from them. Because when I was doing that on a regular basis, I was much more aware of, like, a higher vibration, and I wasn't bogged down so much. The things out there didn't dysregulate me as much, and it led me away from having to deal with those things so much. So I do want to do it, but it's like, it's a balancing act. So if you want to come along, if you have any questions for the Emissaries of Light, you can put them in the comments. It could be anything. I don't know if anybody will see this because it's at the end of the video, but if you do, let me know. Namaste.